I believe you will be healthy, hearty in your mind, body and soul. In the last few months, you were studying about grammar. Hello friends, welcome back. I hope you all are hale and hearty in your body, mind and soul. Today we are going to discuss about sequence of tenses, that is chapter number 6. Before going to talk about tenses, I know you are well known to the tenses present, past and future. In this chapter we are going to use tenses as well as we are going to talk about clauses. I want to remind you that clause as well as tenses are going to used in this chapter. Let's start the chapter. What is the definition? It is the principle. It is a basic module according to which the tense of the verb in a subordinate clause means which verb is going to use in subordinate clause follows the verb in the principal clause. According to principal clause, the verb will be going to use in the subordinate clause. That is all about this chapter. It is a principle. In this chapter you are going to discuss about the laws, term and conditions which are going to tell you if the principal verb is in past, then which verb is going to be followed in the subordinate clause. Let's go with the examples. Example number 1. My father helped me when I was in a problem. My father helped me. I was in a problem. Help was. She knew that he would go. They failed because they ignored. He asked me what she was reading. The sentence said, all men are mortal. We learned that truth always wins. It was believed that sun revolves around the sun. My grandpa told me that never forget to show gratitude to others. So, let us come back to the topic, what we are going to talk. The first four sentences, if you look, principal clause is using past form of the verb. Subordinate clause is using the same verb. It means if the principal clause has a past form of the verb, the subordinate clause is going to use the past form of the verb. Examples are here. In the next 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, if you look clearly, if subordinate clause has facts, truths, no matter is a historical fact, no matter is a natural fact, no matter it is a moral truth, moral guideline or natural guidelines or calculations, if subordinate clause contains any kind of true facts or true truths, then doesn't matter what is in the principal clause. It can be present, it can be past. Examples, the sentence say, past form, all men are mortal, present form. Subordinate clause contains the fact, therefore it doesn't matter what it is here. We learned that the truth always wins, present form, past form. It was believed, it was acceptable that sun revolves around the earth. Later on the discoveries has told that earth revolves around the sun. But in the earlier times people believe that sun revolves around the earth is still. My grandpa told me, never forget to show gratitude to others. Never forget to show, not attitude, gratitude. Don't show attitude to anyone because everybody has their own attitudes. But never forget to show gratitude to others. So what it is there, if the subordinate clause has historical fact, moral guidelines, calculation, historical facts or natural facts or believed statements or which you know the truth, it is true. If those kind of sentences are there in subordinate clauses, then there will be no problem. There should be no problem in if it is in past form, in the principal clause, or present form. You might be getting back to a chapter which you have studied in 8th class, that is direct and indirect speech. And in that chapter we know if it is in past tense, if the statement comes in inverted commas, that is historical fact or natural fact or moral guideline, only we use that. Nothing changes. No matter if it is in present tense or past tense, if over here we have a moral guidelines or natural facts, these kind of things are available, then there is no change. We don't change anything. We just put that. It means we have two rules in the basic forms. Number one rule, what we have studied, it is that if principal clause is in past, then subordinate clause will be in past. Rule number two, if subordinate clause principal clause is in past tense. If subordinate clause contains what? Number one is history facts. Number two, moral guidelines, moral values, or nature related truth, or maths calculation, then principal clause can be in past or present tense. I have written this. If I say 2 and 2 makes 4, if I say 2 and 2 makes 4, how you are going to write it? John sir said that 2 and 2 makes 4. I said a calculation. 2 and 2, 4 makes 4. Either you are in America or Japan or Italy, wherever you will be. 2 and 2 will be 4. Either not 2, not 1, not 7. So, the calculation which are facts, if they are coming in subordinate clause, then principal clause can be in present or past. You can write John sir says that, or John sir said that, or John sir told that, whatever you want to write. So, the first two rules, I hope it is clear to you. Let us discuss more examples about the sequence of the tenses. The first example is, he loved me more than he loves you. Second, he has loved me more than he loved you. He will respect me more than he respected you. He will respect me more than he respects you. You might be seeing that he. With an intention I have written this. What is this? Don't write capital H in subordinate clause. Always write with small h. Don't write with capital H. It is wrong. Second thing, look carefully. More than, more than, more than. Principal clause, subordinate clause. Loved, loves. Has loved, loved. Will respect, respected. Will respect, respects. It means if in any sentence, if any subordinate clause, it starts with this comparison, so the sentence which is in there, subordinate clause, can have future tense in the principal clause, can have present perfect tense, or can have past tense. Means that if subordinate clause is starting with a comparison, any tense can come in principal clause, but it should be completely agree with the sense. Like, he loved me more than he loves you. He loved me before too much than he loves you now. He has loved me more than he loved you. He has already loved me that he loved you. He will respect me more than he respected you. He is going to respect me so much, in so much of amount, in so much of time he will give me up for respecting me in comparison of you. He will respect me more than he respects you. He is going to respect me more than he shows respect to you. Second, I visited the place where the accident took. I visited the place where the accident took place. I visited the place where the accident took place. Place is noun, clarifying the quality of noun. I have visited the village, repeatedly written. I have visited the village where you live. Village noun. So, it means if in subordinate clause, adjective clause comes, then it can be in past or present. It can be adjective clause in the principal clause. If it is adjective clause, it can be present, it can be past. Next, he says that she had passed the exam or she passed the examination. He says that they will come tomorrow. He says that they will come tomorrow. She will think that I did not like her. Look carefully. Says, will. Had passed, will, did not. If it is principal clause in the present tense or the future tense, then no matter which tense is coming into the next. I want to once again to remind you, once again direct indirect speech rule over here. What it says, if your first part, principal clause, is in present tense, then there will be no change. Adjective clause can have any tense. If then is coming in this middle of a sentence, then any tense can proceed in the principal clause. So rule number 3, 4, 5 I am going to write over here, and then we are going to discuss 2 more things, and then this chapter we are going to close. Rule number 3 is, if subordinate clause starts with then, means comparison, then principal clause can be in any tense, must agree with right sense. Number 4, if subordinate clause is adjective clause. Then principal clause can be in past or present tense. Rule number 5, if principal clause is in present or future tense, then subordinate clause can be in any tense. So, number 1 we have studied, if subordinate clause starts with this word, then the principal clause can be in any tense, must agree with the right sense. If subordinate clause is adjective clause, then principal clause can be in past or present tense. If principal clause is in present tense or future tense, then subordinate clause can be in any tense. And next we are going to study 2 more rules of this. We are going to study 2 more rules of this chapter, and we are going to end this chapter. If you have any problem, if you didn't understood anything, then you can text me up. You can ask me the question which rule or which point you have not understood me. So once again, for this point number 5, I want to remind your direct and indirect speech part. If the principal clause in present tense or future tense, the subordinate clause can be in past or can be in future or can be in present. Now we have reached to the last part of the chapter, and the rule number 6 and 7. Once again I am saying, after this we are going to end the chapter. If you have any query, you can text me up that sir, we didn't understand that, or you can comment or you can message me up. Rule number 6 says, if the principal clause is in future tense, point number 1. Or second point is, if subordinate clause has when, even if, till, before, unless, as soon as though, until, as if, these kinds of conjunctions, then subordinate clause will be in or will be written simple present tense. If these 2 conditions are met, then simple present tense will come. If you remember the conditionals, type 1 conditions, you can remind it is the same thing. Now, rule number 7. If purpose has been shared in subordinate clause, if this in subordinate clause if purpose is shared, then the verb of subordinate clause must be in present tense, even if the verb of principal clause is in present or future tense. Now we are reached over here in examples to understand these 2 rules. So for rule number 6, we have examples pointed by 6. Now, if we see the first part and the second part, and in the middle, look at the words: we will, we shall, I will. Unless she asks me. Before she comes, I shall. When. If we are using these words, after this, look what is coming. As soon as you come, simple present tense. If it rains, simple present tense. Till you come, simple present tense. Unless she asks me, simple present tense. Before she comes, simple present tense. When he meets me, it means if we are using these words in subordinate clause, after that we are going to use simple present tense. Before it, the principal clause can be or is in if the principal clause in future tense. Now, if purpose has been shared in subordinate clause, then the verb of subordinate clause must be in present tense. Look at the subordinate clause. They may live, I can attend, or the first part is they do yoga, she works hard, I will go. It is in future tense, it is in present tense, it is in present tense. Subordinate clause must be in present tense if the purpose is shared. They do yoga, why? Because they want to live long. I can write they want to live long. I have written earlier. They want to live. I want to attend. So, what does it mean? If purpose has been shared in the subordinate clause, then in the first part, the principal clause can be in future tense, can be in present tense. If subordinate clause is having these kind of conjunctions, that is called subordinating conjunctions or cumulative conjunctions, then the principal clause is in future tense. After subordinate clause, you must have, and that it will be in simple present tense. You can look at the examples. Now, we have ended the chapter of sequence of tenses. If you have any question, any query, please feel free to ask. Text me up, message me up, or comment over there. Till then, study well, stay focused. We are going to meet soon. Stay healthy, stay happy. Goodbye and take care.